channel. Today's class is on IELTS verbs, grammar and its types. So let's start with the class. Before we begin, my referral code is BE Trainers, and if you subscribe with this code on the Unacademy live platform, you will be getting a 10% off. On the Unacademy website, www.unacademy.com, you will be getting a 10% off on any of its subscriptions. So now before we begin, it's important to understand what are the different types of subscriptions that Unacademy provides. So there are 5 types of subscriptions: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months and 24 months. So in these subscriptions, you can see there are certain offers which have been given. So you've got the 3-month subscription, which was earlier without the offer 8,100, which is now 6,750. Similarly on the other subscriptions. So what can you do with my referral code? Further on this subscription, which is for 6750, which is for a 3-month subscription, you'll get a further 10% off if you use my referral code BE Trainers. And that's the same for all the other subscriptions. So if you would like to register with Unacademy, avail the immense benefits, that is having access to innumerable live classes, ask the expert educators questions, be a part of a student community where you can not only ask the educator questions, but also communicate with each other on the platform. So it's an opportunity none like other, and you can not only have access to live classes but also all the recorded classes of the different educators. So from the time of conception of Unacademy, you'll have access to all the material. All right, now a little bit more about myself. Hi Abhishek, we can see there's a student by the name of Abhishek there. Abhishek the Ripper. So that's a unique name. Hi Abhishek, if you're there in the class, can I get a hi back from you? Okay. For the others who are yet to join us, I will be telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Arifa Zahir, and I'm the founder of British English Trainers. So that's my company. This company is located, it's my institute where I teach and train students for IELTS. It's right here. So we train students for IELTS, TOEFL, PT, General and Communicative English, and also provide assistance in writing the statement of purpose. I'm a Plus educator on the Unacademy platform, and my educational qualifications include Masters in English Literature and CELTA from Cambridge University. I have an overall experience of an IELTS administrator and a tutor of more than 10 years. I began my career as an IELTS administrator with the British Council, where I would conduct IELTS all over East India. Post that, I got into teaching IELTS students and then training IELTS tutors also. And since the past 3 years, now for the past 3 years, I have been teaching students and also conducting training classes for tutors on IELTS and the various other categories. And like I said, we also provide writing the statement of purpose. So that's about me. My students are placed in all parts of the world, and this is an opportunity for me to tell you that IELTS as a subject, IELTS as an examination is gaining popularity all over the world, and it is one of the most renowned examinations to be given in order to get into the various universities for the academic students and for the general students for immigration and work visas. So it depends from country to country. Whichever one your country chooses, you'll have to give the examination. Now, let's move on and get to know more about what we are going to do in today's class. Before we begin, it's very important to tell all of you that Unacademy is providing 20,000 plus free live classes for all the students at home who do not have access to going to regular universities, since we all know India is currently on a lockdown and it's best that we stay at home and stay safe. So this is a golden opportunity for all of you to take an IELTS subscription, take a subscription with an academy for IELTS and for all the other categories, whichever one you're interested in, so that you can stay at home and yet study and improve whatever field you would like to improve yourself in. All right, now let's begin the class. Let's see if we've got any other students in the class right now. Another thing, we are currently starting off with listening part 1 and part 2, and then part 3, part 4, and then a doubt class. This particular listening crash course, I will be starting this course from the 27th of March at 3:30 p.m. So if you are interested in improving your listening, in this course, we are going to provide you not only the input on the different types of sections, but also provide you enough exposure, enough practice to give you an idea about what the IELTS listening examination is all about. All right, let's begin the class now. Let's see if we've got any students in the class right now. If anyone's there in the class, can I get a quick hello? So while I'm arranging this, we are currently on the YouTube class. So let's check and see if we've got any more subscribers who've joined the platform for the class. Hi Parveen, welcome to the class. So we are going to start with the class now. It's nice to see you on the platform. So I'm going to begin by telling you what a verb is. So today's class is basically on verbs and its types, and it's going to give you a good amount of practice for the IELTS examination, because out of all the grammatical skills, it is the verb where students make the most number of mistakes. So it's very important to get a practice on that and become an expert on it. So, verbs are the action words in a sentence that describe what the subject is doing. Along with nouns, verbs are the main part of a sentence or phrase, telling a story about what is taking place. So, how do you recognize a verb? As you can see from the example above, one clue to help you recognize a verb, it's its location compared to the subject. Words almost always come after a noun or a pronoun. Alright? These nouns and pronouns are referred to as the subject. The verb thought comes after the noun Jack. So the action Jack was talking, was thinking. So the action Jack was taking was thinking. So if we have a question, we have a sentence that Jack thought of innumerable things that he could do once the lockdown would get over. So thought, uh, which is right there, comes after Jack. So Jack is the noun and thought is the verb. So similarly, there are other types of verbs. So that is the main verb, where thought is you would say thought talks about a particular state where you are thinking. All right. Now let's begin with the be verb series. Be verbs are am, are, is, was, were, been, and being. Now this is both in the present and in the past. We only use be as to be. Be verbs indicate a state of being. Now, very important to understand that am is an are in the present simple state. I am British, she is lonely, we are waiting. Now, this same verb, if it were to be in the past simple state, it would be I was a Britisher, now I am not. He was lonely, now he isn't. We were waiting when he called. Or we were waiting. Now, verb plus not in negative sentences. I'm not happy. This particular he is not a student. We are not sleeping. Similarly, this can be changed into a past form. So am becomes I am not happy becomes I was not happy. He's not a student. He was not a student. He wasn't a student with that particular university. We are not sleeping. We were not sleeping. Be in questions. Am I late? Is he your brother? Are we going? All right. Now, very simple. It's important that you are aware of these so that you can start using it. So we've got Parveen in the class. Parveen, are you still there in the class? So once we get a response from her, I will, and Abhishek too. So I will be talking to you about how you can use the verbs in the different, tenses, how we can use the verbs to make the understanding better, how you could use verbs, become an expert in using verbs, and get enough exposure to understand the subject verb agreement correlation. Hi Abhishek, welcome to the class. So, why is the be verb so important in the subject verb correlation? To understand be verbs better and the main verbs better, it is very important to understand that the subject, depending on whether it's countable or uncountable, or the subject, whether it is in the singular or plural or first, second, or third person, depending whether it's a pronoun or a noun, will determine what your verb is. So, a very important stage in understanding verbs is your ability to identify whether a particular word, a particular noun is countable or uncountable, or whether a particular noun is first person, second person, or third person. All right. So you can see these in the present, you can see these in the past. You can also see the past participle. I have been, progressive form, I am being. Now, we use do or does before the subject to make the yes or no question. Now, this is a question that I'm going to ask all the students in the class right now. So, hi Abhishek, you're there in the class right now. Parveen, are you there too? Can you please confirm? Because I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, yes. So we've got with us right now Abhishek the Ripper. So Abhishek, I'm going to ask you a question. Can you write a sentence for me where you talk about what you are like, what do you do generally? Write an answer for me. Do you work in an office? Does your friend work in an office? Now, why am I asking that question? You will write, does your friend work in the same office as you? You would write, he does not. Now, this is does not work in the same office as me. Now, it's important to understand that the moment we have do or does, the main verb, which is, where is our pen? Just a second. The main verb, it remains as an infinitive and it does not change its form. Because it's important to understand. Do you know the pronoun structure, Abhishek? Like I do, you do, he does. So I do, you do, he does. So it's very interesting to note that the moment the do or does, the helping verb, comes in the middle, um, yes. So the moment do or does comes in the middle, the main verb which had an S goes to the does one. And so the does reacts with the subject, not the main verb. So it stops being works and it becomes work. Now, this is very interesting to note because in the IELTS examination, one of the major errors that students make are the correlation of the verb with the subject. Now, your ability not to understand whether the subject is singular, plural, and how it acts with the verb. So, this is very, very important to understand. So, for example, instead of he, if we have a lot of individuals, what will you write? Do or does? So, this is a question for Abhishek. This is a question for Parveen. A lot of students, a lot of individuals, do or does. There you made the mistake. Individuals is a plural, Abhishek. So individuals will be do. So I'm going to show you something very interesting. I'll take you to the first slide. So pay attention to this. To understand your verb correlation with the subject, it is very, very important to understand which one is which verb. So we've got the first person, we've got the second person, and we've got the third person, and you've got the singular, and you've got the plural. All right. Now, until and unless you do not understand this, you will not be able to do your work properly. So you will not be able to do your work properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of the pen so that you can easily understand. And there it goes. So first person is I, singular, plural is we. Yes, third person singular, you, second person you, singular, you, plural. Third person he, she, it, and then we've got they. Now, let's understand the correlation. I'll use the red pen now. And I'll keep coming back to this slide so that you'll be able to understand. So, I am, we are, you are, even in the singular, even in the plural. He, she, it, he is, she is, it is, they are. Okay, so that was your be verb. Obviously, the moment it becomes past, it becomes I was, we were, they. Similarly, you are, you were, and you were. He, she, it was, they were. All right. Now, next, we are going to talk about do and does, the helping verbs. Hi Ratna, welcome to the class. We're just doing the subject verb correlation with the be verb, and then I'll be doing it for the main verb also, and then I will be doing it for the different types of helping verbs also. All right. So that's your be verb correlation. Now, before I move to the main verb, now I'll also do it for do and does. which are your helping verbs. I do, we do, you do, he, she, it does, they do. Can you see this, Abhishek? You can clearly see this that we've got does out there. And because of which, the moment the does comes, the main verb stops reacting, stops acting with the subject, and the does starts acting with the subject. All right. I will be showing an example to you later to make it clearer for you to understand. So these are the correlations. And just like with B, if you'd like to make a WH question, you put the question word at the front. Do you live in Kolkata? Where do you live? What does she like to eat? You see, does acts with the subject, and very clearly you've got eat. And what does she like? Does she like to eat? So you've got a lot of verbs out here. One is showing an action, one is helping, and so you can clearly see there are no s here. So clearly, one very important thing to understand is you don't have any likes here, because this has the does has acted with the subject, and the likes becomes like. Okay, why do they work so hard? Similarly, why they work. So if you had a question in the question form, why do they work so hard, you would say they work so hard to earn a living. What does she like to eat? She likes to eat pasta. So it's very interesting. In the question form, automatically we don't use the s, but when we are answering, we write she likes to eat pasta. Excuse me. But if I put does out here, then it'll stop being she does not like to eat pasta. So automatically what it does is the s gets removed and it stops being a main verb which is acting with the subject. All right. So this is very interesting. The moment do does comes, it completely eliminates the main verb acting with the subject, and the do and does start acting with the subject very clearly. Now, a very easy activity. You've got a list of sentences here. What you need to do is make the corrections wherever required. Okay. So if you need to add an S, add an S. If you do not need to add an S, don't add an S. Or if you need to add a helping verb, add a helping verb. If you do not need, don't add. For example, I am going to give you an example of number 3. She visits her grandmother every Christmas. So she, verb plus S. Alright? Can you do this for me? Make corrections only where it is required. Once you're done, let me know, guys, and then I'll share the answers with you. So we've got, yeah, only make corrections where required, otherwise just let it be. Parveen tells me 6 and 9. Ratna, Abhishek. Okay, Are we going to get more answers? So I'm sharing the answers, guys. Please check your answers. Okay. Now, we are going to skip the question forms. So I'm going to share this with you. Before I share this with you, just a second. I'm going to do a short activity with you. Just a second. You remember the first slide? So can I get a quick attendance response from the students? I would just like to see who are there in the class. Quickly, can I get a yes? You want number 7 explained? So we've got yes. So we've got Parveen who said a yes. So number 7 is Lucy and Jill want to go out. Alright. So Lucy and Jill want to go out. Lucy and Jill are plural. Right? They're not one person. Lucy wants to go out. But Lucy and Jill are two people. Alright, Abhishek? I hope that's clear, Abhishek. Now next, I'll just explain something really important to you guys. We go back to this slide. Now, I am, was, do. So now we look at the main verbs. I like, we like, you like again, he, she, it likes, they like. So, now the one thing very, very important to notice and something I keep repeating is, agar you have a does in the middle between the subject, which is he, she, it. So subject and then do or does. Then the main verb will not take an S. Then the main verb does not take an S. So main verb minus S. But if the do does is not there, then the main verb will take an S. I hope that's absolutely clear to all of you. Please confirm. Okay, so now a very important thing to understand is in IELTS, what students make errors with are not basically these type of simple subjects. So the subjects would be the public. Now you guys are going to tell me the public is going to have do or does. What is going to be followed after the public? So after the public, are you going to write a do or are you going to write a does? So Parveen tells me do. Ratna do. Abhishek does. And Abhishek is right. Now I'll tell you why Abhishek is right. Yesterday itself, Parveen Ratna, in the special class on countable and uncountable nouns, I told you that public is a singular unit. It is uncountable. So that means it is third person singular. So what is it going to have? Do or does? It's going to have does. Now I am going to give you another word. You guys are going to tell me whether it's going to be followed by do or does. the information. Exactly. Very good, Abhishek. I think your concept is getting clearer. Very good, Parveen. Does. The information does not pertain to us. You see? Very good. Now, I am going to give you a sentence. You're going to tell me whether it's right or wrong. The air does not has a lot of pollution. Right or wrong? Very good, Abhishek. Uh, the light do not switch off easily. The light do not um, so the light do not switch off easily. The light do not get switch off easily. Absolutely. So there are so many errors in that sentence right there. So I think you guys have understood the usage. So now you are going to be able to do this activity for me. Guys, you've got verbs out here. What you're going to do is you're going to fill in the blanks. Please don't share the answers on the page until everyone finishes. I'll share all the answers with you. Is everyone ready to do this activity? Please keep a notebook before you and start writing the answers in your notebook. All right? Let me know once you finish the activity. Are we done, guys? Okay, I'll just tell it to you. My family have dash some land in southern France recently. They dash a summer house there at the moment. They dash a summer house. They dash there is a build in the bracket a summer house there at the moment. Build in the bracket. Next one is Andy and Mary dash to a concert tomorrow night. They dash look forward to in the bracket in the whole week. Or you can just skip number 2. See guys, these are all tenses, it's just not one tense. So it could be any of the ones that we've discussed. So these sentences are not actually very easy. You'll have to, brainstorm a little bit. You'll have to try to look at the sentence and then understand and do it. Guys, I'm sharing the answer. Have given you all enough time. Have a look at the answers. The first one is my family have bought some land in southern France recently. They are building a summer house there at the moment. Andy and Mary are going to a concert tomorrow night. They've been looking forward to it the whole week. So that's the insert answer, and the others are right there before you. Two errors. What about you, Parveen? 5 errors. Abhishek? Okay, I'm going to move ahead and I'm going to tell you done till 7, 4 errors. So, yeah, quite a few of them. Also, I did share with you all a mixed tense form. So that itself tells you, Abhishek, that when it comes to tense form, you have to analyze and understand. I will be doing a special class on tenses, Abhishek. So follow me on Unacademy website, so that if I do any of these classes, you will get a notification and you'll be able to join the class, because the tense forms are not that easy to understand, and that has been a request from all my students. So I'll be specifically doing that for all of you. Now, the next thing is the action verb series. So I'll just quickly go through that. The action verbs are verbs which show action, okay? Now, you can clearly see that these particular words out here are number 4. Can it be new? That's your question. Number 4, my car broke down when I drove. When I was driving home from work, I would have fixed it if I had known what was wrong. Abhishek, the thing is, no, it is a past perfect sentence, so it won't be. I think, Abhishek, you come and attend my tenses classes. Things will become a lot easier for you to understand. All right? Now, the action verb series, it's very, very important to understand that these verbs can be used in the ing form, the various actions, but I won't touch the transitive verb. I'll straight away jump to the state verbs. So we've got state verbs. Just a second. Uh, okay, this has a lot of action verbs, so I'll just clearly tell you this. The action verbs can be used in the ing form, but the state verbs, which I'm going to clarify about in the subsequent slides, cannot be used in the ing form. That means in the present progressive or the present continuous form. So you've got the statement, I'm loving it. Have you all heard that? I'm loving it. It's grammatically wrong, because love cannot be used as a present continuous or a present progressive verb plus ing, but it can be used as an adjective. He is a loving husband. She has a loving husband. He has a loving wife. So it can be used in the adjective form, but not in the ing form. Now we've got transitive verbs and we've got intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are action verbs that are always express doable activities that relate or affect someone or something. These are the things are generally direct objects. So transitive verbs always have an object which they talk in correlation to, that are affected by the verbs. Some verbs can also take an indirect object such as show, take and make. In a sentence with a transitive verb, someone or something receives the action of the verb. Now, a transitive verb is, and generally it has an effect on an object. It can be a direct object or an indirect object. For example, Ronnie ate the cookies. All right, the transitive verb is ate. Ronnie is the subject because it is Ronnie who is doing the eating, and the cookies are the direct object because it is the cookies that are being eaten. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Especially if you are going to write complex sentences in IELTS, you need to be aware of transitive and intransitive verbs. Now, Abhishek, what is your band score requirement in IELTS? Can you just share it with me? Because I'm aware of Ratna and Parveen's band score requirement, but not yours. 6.5. then just the basic idea of transitive intransitive is enough. You do not have to go into an in-depth analysis of it and the correlation with the complex sentences. Now, explain examples of verbs used with both direct and indirect objects. This is not a good word. Just a second. The young boy sells him the tickets. In the sentence, the tickets are the direct object, while him is the indirect object. Margaret baked her mother an apple pie. In the sentence, an apple pie is the direct object, while a mother is the indirect object. Okay? The intransitive verb examples in the following sentences are in bold for easy identification. We travel to London. So intransitive verbs are action verbs that always express doable activities. They are different from transitive verbs because there is no direct object following an intransitive verb. I sneezed in the morning while talking to my mother. So it's not acting on the mother. So this is an intransitive verb. It's just showing an action. Manil arrived with moments to spare. So what did Manil do? He arrived with moments to spare. It is not affecting anyone. Now, similarly these, so we are done with that. So pick up the transitive and intransitive sentences and write the object and subject. So can you do this? Are you comfortable doing this, or do you need some more clarity on this? Like for example, the first sentence, some ants fight fiercely. So I think you can do this as a homework because it's important but not very important, and the answer key is given here. So I would suggest, so I'll just do this as a, you could do this as a homework. So this is the page, take a screenshot, take a screenshot, take a screenshot of the answer key and screenshot of the answer key, and you can do this later. All right, now quickly moving on to a helping verb. The helping verbs can be auxiliary or modals. Helping verbs are verbs that help the main verb in a sentence by extending its meaning. They can also add detail to how time is conveyed in a sentence. As a result, helping verbs are used to create the most complicated verb tenses in English, the progressive and the perfect aspects. These verbs also function to convey complicated shades of meaning like expectation, permission, probability, potential, obligation, and direction. Types of helping verb, like I said, auxiliary and modal. I have done a separate class on modals. Please check my YouTube class, my special classes to understand modals better, and also live classes. Abhishek, are you a subscriber? Anyways, we'll move ahead and I'll talk to you about the auxiliary verbs, because these are very, very important to understand. These come under on the Unacademy platform. Auxiliary verbs are also known as helping verbs and are used together with the main verb to show the verb's tense or to form a question or negative. Common examples of auxiliary verbs include have, might, will. These auxiliary verbs will give some context to the main verb. For example, letting the reader know when the action took place. The auxiliary verb examples in the following sentences are in the bold for easy identification. I will go home after basketball practice. The auxiliary verb will is telling us that the action of the main verb go is going to take place in the future after the basketball practice has ended. So if you are Abhishek, I've done a separate class on modals, and that's very, very important. Please go through it. It's part of my grammar series part 1 and grammar series part 2. In this case, there is no definite time frame for action. Whenever you use may, might. Uh, Generally, it's talking about sometimes in the future, but generally, it could also be in the present. I may dance with you later. We did consider Brian's feelings. Jenny has spoken her final verbs. In addition, we can sometimes use the auxiliary very before the pronoun to make a question. Might you dance with me later? Did we consider Annie's feeling? Has Jennifer spoken? Auxiliary verbs are used to help form negative sentences with the use of verbs not and never also. Alright. Now, it's important to understand, I'm just trying to figure out where the pen is, that auxiliary verbs are very, very important, especially in IELTS writing task 2 and speaking 1 and 2. Excuse me, speaking 1, 2, and 3. So, if you have a problem in terms of trying to understand how it affects your overall grammatical structure, sentence structure, please go through my videos. I have done enough videos for you to understand the usage of verbs in its various forms, and each of these auxiliary, base verb, be verb, subject verb agreement, modals, everything has been done in detail on the Unacademy live platform in my complete grammar series. I'll just skip the linking verbs. You can go through this later because these are more in correlation with your coherence and cohesion in IELTS writing task 2. Linking verbs link different sentences, different ideas, the paragraphs, and different thought processes in IELTS writing and also in IELTS speaking. Now, there are enough activities out here for you to do in terms of the auxiliary verb. And what we could do is we could ask you to do one of these activities so that you can get a better idea about what an auxiliary verb is and how it can be used. And in terms of understanding which one is for singular and which one is for plural. Can I get a quick yes from the ones who are there in the class right now? Because my live chat isn't showing students in the, you know, in, it's not showing students as they are there in the class. It's only when I refresh it, it shows me who are there in the class right now. So if you're there in the class right now, please write a yes. I know Abhishek is there. Yes, thank you, Abhishek. Parveen, are you there in the class? Ratna, yes. Okay, can we do these activities right now? Can we do question number 1 to 10? Quickly take a screenshot and do it in your notebook, on your notebook, and I'll share the answer. Are we done, guys? Okay, sharing the answers here. And also would like to tell you, once you're done with this, that my new course is going to start from the 27th March on listening, and that is going to be at 3:30 p.m. for every day for 4 days. And currently today my next class is at 4:30 p.m. on speaking on the Unacademy live platform. Okay, on the website. Very good. Very good, Abhishek. So that's it. So today we've covered the be verb. I've spoken to you about the helping verb auxiliary. So not everything has been done, but these are the ones that we've covered. And I've spoken to you about the state verb, again in minor detail. And I've told you about transitive and intransitive. So these are the things that we've covered today. I hope it helped to all of you. And good, very good, Abhishek, good, Ratna, only one error. So the next class is at 4:30 p.m. on speaking on the website, Unacademy website, speaking on all the latest topics. And after that, again, I have a class on YouTube at 6:30 p.m. today, which is on IELTS Writing Task 1 Vocabulary. So it will be on line graph, pie chart, bar chart, maps, and we'll also write one writing task 1 at 6:30 p.m. So the next class is at 4:30 p.m. on the website, Unacademy website, and at 6:30 p.m. on back in the YouTube platform, on the YouTube platform. Thank you guys for being a part of the class. I hope you benefited out of what was taught. I will be doing another session on verbs to further explain what we've missed out today. So we'll be back on the, on another session on, we'll be back for another session on the remaining verbs. All right. Thank you so much. With that, we come to end of the class. Have a good day. Bye, and meet you on the Unacademy platform.